What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday night. Talking some MMA, some UFC with my man, Big Marley. Before I say anything else, huge first week for my man, Big Marley, down below, and our man, Kenny, and our man, Ricardo. The first round of the MMA finals is this week. For those that don't know, you got to win round one to advance, you got to win round two to advance, and then you got to win round three. What is it, Big Marley? Is it how it was? Is it 40 or 45 out of 100? And then it was 15 out of 40 last year. Do you know what it is this year?
Yeah, 40 down to 15. 15 is the final, live
Nice.
final. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Super, super pumped to be following that along with you. And we had a good card for assuming all, fingers crossed, that all 14 fights stay. We rarely ever see 14 fights nowadays. Only one 5-rounder. Couple big favorites, as you can see on the stone that we're sharing, but plenty of mid-tier, plenty of closely lined fights as well. Kansas City, Missouri, live crowd, big cage. I'm excited for this one. Again, 14 fights. Hope everybody out there doing well. How you doing, Big Marley?
I'm good. 14 fights is solid. I am hoping we keep it. That'll be a good number, especially for round one of a qualifier. Yeah, I was thinking there would probably be a tiebreaker that they would have to solve, and I'd have another week. And then I got the email this week about it, so I guess I'm getting serious about this card. But I don't know how excited I'd be if it weren't for the qualifier this week. I love the main event, but aside from that, the card is decent, I guess. But hopefully it's a great DFS card.
Yeah, for DFS, I mean, anytime there's 14 fights, I'm in for DFS. We rarely get 14 nowadays. More combinations, less dupes. As we can see right now, broad slate overview, I see 3 5-star fights for our man Big Marley. I agree. I think there's clear fights to target. My big broad slate too is the mid-tier. 4 fights in the mid-tier, only one is supposed to finish, and that is the main event, Ian Garry, Carlos Prates. That fight's going to get a ton of ownership for that. Almost every main event 5-round fight does, but with a lack of good fights around it, it's going to even lead it to be higher owned. Any initial thoughts, broad state overview before we go fight by fight? Lots to talk about.
No, not really. I don't think there's any fights I'm going to lock in. I also haven't really thought too much about the fades on this card, but none are really popping out aside from Gutierrez on every single card. But hopefully you'll talk me into a couple more.
Yeah, I got a good amount of fade, so I'm feeling good about it. Before we get into it, Dollar Bill, what's going on? MMA is back. We'd love to see that. And again, if you guys aren't a member at SHIPIT Nation, no better time to get in. Usually $99 for Saber Sim Core and all of our content. Use the code DGen75, $75 off. Only $24. Discord, the best community out there. All of our content and Saber Sim, just $24 a month, less than $1 a day. Absolutely cannot beat it. Again, DGen75 is the code to get $75 off your first month. There's no time to waste, Big Marley. 14 fights to talk about. We're going bottom to top. Like usual, starting with the females, Jocelyn Edwards, minus 282, taking on Chelsea Chandler, plus 242. One of the most likely fights to go the distance on the card at minus 400 to go to decision. Jocelyn plus 375 inside the distance. Chandler plus 800. Kick it off to you right away. What are you doing in this one?
Probably avoiding it, especially with a single entry type of lineup. This isn't one I'm really looking forward to clicking either side of. I do think that Edwards is the better all-around fighter. I favor her to win likely 2 rounds, if not all 3. But, I mean, she's 9K. She has been mixing in her wrestling, which I like to see, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of wrestling in this fight. Either one of them could mix in wrestling, and she just doesn't put a stamp on rounds like you would want to see if you're laying minus 300 on a fighter. I could definitely see Chandler winning 1 round, and then we're reading it off at the end. You know, we got one idiot saying 30-27 this fighter, another idiot saying 30-27 the opposite fighter, and who knows what they'll say for that third one. But I'm always wanting to hold the underdog ticket if that's the scenario. So maybe my preferred play on this one is Chandler because she's 7,200. She can keep it close on the feet. She could mix in her own takedowns. But I just think that Edwards wins and scores 70s, 80s, and just doesn't cut it. So overall, I'm not looking to click it much, but I won't X either side out.
I'm kind of with you. I'm dog or pass in this one for DFS because the thing with Jocelyn Edwards, I think she's the better striker. I think she's going to win a decision. her fight against Roman Pasquale a couple fights ago, she landed 164 significant strikes. She scored 99 in that fight. I don't think 99 is enough on this card at 9K. We have killers up top, a lot of high favored to finish, etc. We have wrestlers, couple wrestlers, mainly just high inside the distance fighters, plus 375. I think I need more than 20 teams. I've been going back and forth on a couple in the upper tier that underweight or fade, etc. Right now, I have Jocelyn as a fade. We're going to get to some later, and then I'm going to come back and be like, this person or Jocelyn, who do you prefer? I will have some Chandler. She's going to be low owned. I think if she wins, she does wrestle. She's just a big girl. She plots forward. Her striking, she throws pillows. Nothing's really going to hurt Jocelyn. Jocelyn's to pick her apart with teep kicks, volume, etc. But Chandler's tough. And again, 164 significant strikes, and I don't think that's optimal. I just can't get there then, or it's harder for me to get there. Chandler, if she wins, I think it's probably a couple takedowns, some control time, and I'll take that at 7,200. So she is my preferred play, but I'm with you. If I was playing 5 teams or less, I probably don't play this fight at all. It is one of the lowest owned fights on the card, but it's Chandler pass more so mainly for me. Again, I will ask a couple other upper tier fighters versus Edwards later that I'm deciding, but right now I have Edwards as a fade. Let's keep rolling. Next fight on the card, a mid-tier fight. Roberto Romero taking on Timothy Kawamba. Minus 135 is Romero, plus 115 Kawamba. Plus 140 for this fight to finish. Romero plus 225 inside the distance. Kawamba plus 425. So we had some line movement in this one. Romero opened the dog at plus 140. Got all the way down real quickly to minus 155. Slowly but surely, some money came in on the Kawamba side. But just yesterday, this was minus 110 this line was, a pick 'em. And then Romero has taken 25 cents since yesterday. So I could see it closing minus 145, minus 150. And I also, the inside of distance prop, opened plus 170. Now it's plus 140. So some money on the under, some money coming back in on Romero. I'm on the Romero side. I'll say that. I was just really impressed with his debut on short notice against David Onama. Whereas Timmy Kawamba, I thought he lost his Contender Series fight. He lost his Almeida fight. He lost his Oki fight. He just really hasn't shown me much at all so far. So give me the junkyard dog, Romero, who fought way better competition in Onama than he's fighting this week. Good inside the distance prop, plus 265, now plus 225. I'm going to play some Romero in the mid-tier. Don't love Kawamba, but I'll be playing some in 20 entry more than likely. Romero, not Romero or pass, but Romero definitely my preferred play. How do you see it?
Yeah, another one I'm not making it a point to target, but I'm okay with either side. I think that Romero is the more aggressive striker, probably more likely to get a finish. But Kawamba, I think he can keep it close on the feet with some, fast leg kicks. I like his fast 1-2. If he can just put it together for 15 minutes, I think his striking is decent. But I do think he's our more likely wrestler in this one. And I just think it's going to be a really close fight where they both take turns. Kawamba gets a couple takedowns and then he's winning minutes. And then Romero's more aggressive on the feet and he's winning minutes. And it's another close decision where they're probably scoring close to 10x. I don't know that 10x is going to get it done. So I would prefer not to use this fight and just be okay if SaberSim gives me either side of it. So it's kind of like the last one. I'm not going to X him out, but I'm also not really loving either side. I picked Kawamba to win just because he had the plus next to his name when I was looking into it. I mean, he still does. So I guess he's my preferred play. And he is 400 cheaper, but I would like to see I guess I want to see what I think my ownership is closer to the fights. And then that would decide who my preferred play is. Because I would want the lower owned one either way, I think.
That makes sense. I assume it'll be pretty close in ownership. The thing is, these first 2 fights are not great to target. We're not going to show our ownership. Ownership's one of the most important things in MMA. All content will be up Friday, including ownership projections in the SaberSim. But these are both pivot fights. And there's multiple pivot fights on this card. Again, this is the mid-tier fight, expected to go the distance. It's third of the 4th mid-tier fight, most likely to go the distance. The only one worse is the Castaneda-Gutierrez fight that's already been booked. We'll talk about that again, but it's my probably third favorite fight in the mid-tier too, but I'll go after Romero with the better inside the distance prop. He looked better. I do think Timmy is more likely to wrestle though in this one, and he has 400 savings, so that makes sense. Man, Boyson's gonna be full cooked after this one. All right, let's keep it rolling. Next fight on the card: Jacqueline Amarine taking on Polyana Viana. Minus 800 Amarine, plus 550 Viana, minus 285 for this fight to finish. We have Amarine minus 205 inside the distance, Viana plus 900. We're talking line movement, Big Marley. Listen to this one. Amarine opened minus 250. Then on Monday, minus 650. Then I look Tuesday morning, minus 800. That's a lot of line movement. The under has also, the fight to finish, open minus 225, now minus 285. Amarine by sub, open minus 135, now minus 165. Viana can't stuff a takedown to save her life. Amarine's very credentialed. Black belt on the mat. I think this is just like the Barbosa fight a couple of weeks back where she took so much steam. Her submission took so much steam. I mean, it's Amarine by first round sub for me. That's how I got it. What about you?
Yeah, probably the same first, second round sub. I just think Amarine is a better version of Viana. Viana does have dangerous submissions, but it's going to be hard to catch Amarine in a submission. So maybe Viana's a fade in this one. With 150, I'd probably keep her in with 5% or so, but Amarine's the preferred play. I think she could wrestle her way to a decision and score well, but I think a submission early is what we're getting.
Yeah, I'm fading Polyana, probably in 150 too. But I will say, like, if she wins, I mean, I thought it'd probably be a submission, but she's plus 900 to win inside the distance, and she plus 2,200 by submission. Like, she's more likely for a knockout, I guess, because Amarine's such a good submission artist. It's hard to submit her, but I ain't playing Viana. There's a million other fighters I'd rather unregister than play Polyana Viana. So I ain't going that way. All right, let's keep it rolling. Next fight on the card. One a very close line fight. The closest on the card, actually. Malcolm Wellmaker, minus 116. Cameron Simon, minus 104. Plus 105 for this fight to finish. Wellmaker, plus 215 inside the distance. Simon, plus 325. Another fight, the under's taking a little bit of money. Fight to finish, open plus 120. Now plus 105. Wellmaker also opened the dog at plus 120. A couple days later, got bought down to like the minus 135 range. Simon has taken money slowly but surely ever since. You going with the 24-year-old UFC vet? Again, vets used thrown around, but compared to Wellmaker making his debut off a Contender Series at 30, Simon only 24, 5 UFC fights in. It's an interesting one and pretty much a pick 'em. What you got?
Yeah, I think Wellmaker has a nasty hook game. I mean, he could knock out Simon with a right or a left hook, but if he's not knocking Simon out, I just don't think he's throwing enough volume. I also don't think he's looking to wrestle in this one. So for DFS, him making the optimal lineup, I kind of think he's knockout or bust. I think Simon's our better minute winner in this one. I think he's the higher volume one. Wellmaker's more of just a counter striker. He wastes too much cage time, in my opinion. Like, he's got good hands, but he's not using them as much as I would like him to. So I think Simon could win on the feet just based on volume alone. I also think we're getting a better line here because of his last performance. He just looked like shit against Talbot, but Talbot looked so good in that fight. I'm sure Wellmaker wouldn't look great against Talbot either, to be honest with you. So I think recency bias is real. I'm going to be on the Simon side of this one. I'll take a stand on this one. Underweight to Wellmaker, overweight to Simon. Simon's should be our better grappler, better wrestler. He doesn't wrestle as much as I would like him to. But he's an underdog. He's an underdog. I'm picking to win, and I think he could score well if he gets it done. So I'll be overweight to him.
I like it. I felt like a little fish. I was buying the hype a little bit with Wellmaker. Mainly, it was like you said, those hooks, his nasty power. Simon's frail. He's hittable. He'll fight for your dollar. There's no doubt about that. But I was worried about the beating he took against Talbot. He did take some time off, but man, like, who knows how the chin recovers? He's still very young, but he took an ass beating. No doubt about that last fight. Whereas, man, it's so hard to know what Simon is. He beats up on the biggest bums, Cowslow, Mana Martinez, Terrence Mitchell. Then he loses to C-Rod and Talbot, two very good guys that I expect him to lose to. So I think we'll get a true test right here. Wellmaker, I think, is better than his 3 wins. I think Simon's worse than Wellmaker's better than his 3 wins, and Wellmaker's worse than C-Rod and Talbot that he lost to. So Pick'em seems about right. And again, on DFS, $600 difference. Easily can you plug in Wellmaker, line up, drop Wellmaker to Simon, leave 600 plus, and go about your day. Now, I got one quick question before we move on. Let's say Simon closes the favorite at minus 125, minus 120, and he is 27% owned, Wellmaker's 19. Would you still be Simon? Like, it's not that crazy of a difference. Would you trust your research, or would you flip?
Yeah, I have a bet on Simon, so I'm sticking with it. He's my preferred play, even if he is. Yeah, I would actually feel a little bit better if the line shifts, because I think I got a worse line than's available right now.
Sounds good. All right, that makes a lot of sense. All right, let's keep it going. Next fight on the card. Big favorite, Damon Blackshear, minus 460, taking on Alatang Haley, plus 360, minus 110 for this fight to finish. Blackshear plus 135 inside the distance. Alatang Haley plus 550. Alatang's a fade for me. The reason for that, I just think Blackshear is better wherever this fight goes. On the feet, Blackshear. On the mat, definitely Blackshear. Alatang, he prefers to wrestle, as you can see right here on the stone, 1.99 takedowns per 15. I mean, good luck. You want to shoot on Blackshear? Easy reversal. Get out. He'll end up on top. He'll do whatever he wants. And eventually he'll find a submission. Unless you tell me otherwise, I just don't see where Alatang Haley, wins this fight. I think Blackshear is solid at 9,300. I will say ownership in this. Let's see. Yeah, the thing is with Blackshear is Amarim, Ming Yang Zhang, Al Askarov, and I believe Matt Schnell will all be higher owned. Like Matt Schnell for 200 cheaper is minus 110 inside the distance. He's in a fight that's really favored to finish. This fight, a coin flip pretty much to finish, and plus 135 for Blackshear. He can wrestle. He can get a first round finish. He can get a submission. So I'm using him as a pivot in chalkier teams. But in a vacuum, I prefer all 4 of those that I mentioned prior. So that's where I see Blackshear. Unless you talk me into Alatang Haley, he is a fade for me.
Yeah, fade for me too. I don't really know how he wins this fight unless he's just landing a couple takedowns and laying in top control and avoiding submissions from Blackshear. But I think Blackshear's our better striker in this one. I think he's the much more dangerous submission artist. And I think even if Alatang Haley is landing takedowns, I still favor Blackshear from the bottom. So Blackshear or pass. I do worry about his ceiling at 9,300. Don't think we have to click on him, but yeah, pivot. I think he is a great pivot, and I think he submits him at some point. So I'll definitely get some lineups with him and just X out Alatang Haley even with the 150.
So Blackshear over Jocelyn Edwards pretty clearly.
Yeah.
I agree. That was one I wanted. I didn't even mean to ask that one, but like they're both pivots. Now Jocelyn's even half the ownership probably as Blackshear, so there's levels to the pivots. But again, with 14 fights, really outside of the main event, and you guys will see it when we post ownership on Friday, it's one of the most spread out ownerships you can imagine because there's so many good fighters in the upper tier where they're all going to eat into each other. The mid tier is not great outside, again, the main event that will get a ton of ownership, but it's easy to leave money, mix in 1-2 low owned fighters, get leverage here or there. If you fade the main event, you're completely different right away. So fingers crossed we keep all 14 fights. It'll be a good DFS card if so. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. Like button, subscribe button. Whenever you're watching this, Wednesday night, watching live, Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning. Appreciate you hanging out with us this week. And again, good luck to Big Marley, Kenny, and Ricardo in the first round of the live final. Keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, a rebooking from last month. Chris Gutierrez taking on John Castaneda. We have minus 140 Gutierrez, plus 120 is Castaneda. Plus 250 for this fight to finish. Castaneda plus 365 inside the distance. Gutierrez plus 600. I said it last time we broke it down. I'll say it this time. I ain't playing this fight. One of the most likely to go the distance. I love Gutierrez for one reason. Nasty leg kicks. You know I'm king of leg kicks. Problem is, leg kicks ain't scoring for you unless it's TKO against Omar Morales. Then it'll score for you. Was it Vince Morales, Omar Morales? One of the two. Regardless, I ain't playing this fight. If I had to pick, I'd pick the dog in Castaneda, some wrestling upside, better inside the distance prop. But I mean, I don't know. Like I prefer Simon, I prefer Wellmaker, I prefer Romero, I prefer Kawamba. Definitely the main event. I just am fading this fight overall. Hope Gutierrez wins the decision. What are you doing in this one?
I'm going to play some Castaneda and I'll fade Gutierrez. I always do. I think he has some of the best leg kicks in the game, and that's about all I like about his game. And I feel like at some point they got to start figuring him out. And one of the best ways to do that would be to land takedowns on him. I think if Castaneda shoots at one of the early leg kicks, he can get Gutierrez a little bit worried and throw a little bit less of them. And if he does that, I think Castaneda can win the striking game. But we're going to need him to wrestle, or I guess a knockout would be fine too. I don't expect that, but I think Castaneda can land, 2 to 4 takedowns in this fight. And at 8K, I think he can score over 10X. So I'll play some of him and 0 Gutierrez.
Okay, maybe I'll debate getting like a capping 8% Castaneda going underway because I have enough fades, but I still don't love the fight, especially with Gutierrez taking money. This fight opened -110, now -140. That makes me like it even a little less. In the first fight, I did want to mention John Castaneda pulled out because he had an illness on fight day. So that is why that fight was canceled and then it was rebooked later on.
I'm kind of glad it was canceled because I don't really remember the card, but I remember having like 50% Castaneda because of the card. And I was like, God, I feel sick putting this much in. And then I got the cancellation. I was like, okay, good. And I know I won't have anywhere near that on this card. So it worked out. Although I'll be pissed, I guess, if he scores 120. And then I
was just going to say, what if he did that? Then you won't like it. That's funny. Yeah, not a good fight to target in DFS, though. Let's move on. Next fight on the card, Evan Elder, -193, taking on Gage Young, +168, +170 for this fight to finish. Elder +300 inside the distance. Young +400. So as you probably noticed, looking at the stone and the pricing, 9,400 and 7,100 usually don't go together. 9,400 lines up with 6,800. DraftKings keeps their pricing the same every time. There was a short notice replacement. Evan Elder's previous opponent, I mean, just a freaking creep. If you want to look into it, you can look into it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Gage Young steps in on a week's notice. I'm kind of impressed with this kid, though. 8-2, only 24 years old. He seems pretty game to me. And the line says the same because Evan Elder's had some good UFC fights. The Sadikov fight, very impressive until the doctor stoppage got split open. Open -230 in this fight. Got down to like -250. Money's been coming in on Gage Young. It's a clear Gage Young or pass for me, but this is what I wanted to ask. I was debating Elder and Jocelyn Edwards. Which one would you rather play? I'm playing Gage Young. Solid money line for the price. Solid inside the distance for the price. Looks like a good fighter. Hometown guy. I'm playing him for 7,100. Do I love the upside? I don't know. Not really. I respect Evan Elder, but I'm playing Young for the price. 75 could be enough. Now talk about Elder versus Jocelyn and then break down this fight for me, please.
Yeah, I'm not going to have much of either of them. So I'd say that they're very similar. And if I was making 10 or less lineups that are easy fades, 20 or less, I'd probably try to fade them both as well. If I had to choose, though, maybe I just want to save the $400 on this card and go with Edwards. But yeah, on this fight, I think, although I don't know, because I think one of Elder's biggest advantages in this game would be his offensive wrestling. Based on, I only saw 1 or 2 of this Gage guy's fights, and one of them was a Contender Series fight where he was taken down like 8 or 9 times. That's not a good look. He did pop back up, but that's also a good thing for DFS. If Elder does look to wrestle, he just doesn't look to wrestle as much as I would like. And I think he could win the striking game. And that's how I see it taking place, is mostly on the feet. And maybe he looks for a takedown if it's closer than he hopes. But I think Elder wins and scores 75 points, and neither of these guys are needed. So I'm going to try and avoid this fight. Probably dog or pass, though. Young is a live dog. He's got knockout power. He could break the slate. I think he's much more likely to break the slate than Elder. So, yeah, dog or pass, that's it.
Clearly. And I mean, there's good. Gage Young at +168 at 7,100. That's good. Like, that's good money line. Again, 14 fights. We might need some upside, but I'm not prioritizing necessarily upside in the lower tier because we have so many big favorites up top and 4 fights in the mid tier. like there could very well only be one dog that wins 7,500 and below, and you need it even if it is 72, because I am expecting big scores up top, where then you need those cheaper stuff down low. So yeah, I'll probably be overweight Gage Young. Right now, I had Jocelyn fade Elder underweight, and I think I'm going to keep it that way. Elder was my preferred play by a little bit, I think, as well. Little better inside the distance prop. Um, yeah, that's what I got there. What's going on, Chin Check? Yeah, tapes his ankles, spams leg kicks. Hey, that's what I'll be doing when I get my first Muay Thai fight. Leg kicks for days, baby. What's going on, Joanne? How we doing? All right, let's keep it going. Next fight on the card. Man, the line keeps moving to this one. Matt Schnell, minus 170. Jimmy Flick, plus 145 when I'm looking at Bet Online. Now, this is why you price shop. Like, I'm looking at FanDuel. Minus 225, Matt Schnell, plus 172, Jimmy Flick. I mean, there's an ARB opportunity right there if you really want to do it. But a lot of money on the Bet Online coming in on Jimmy Flick. This fight's minus 350 to finish. Matt Schnell minus 110 inside the distance. Jimmy Flick plus 200. Which guy that retired is going to come out and win? That's what I got for you.
I'm rooting for it to be Matt Schnell, but I mean, I don't trust him a lot, so I'm going to be close on this one. I want to target it heavily. Probably maybe closer to a 5-star. I might end up changing this one to a 5-star because I do want to target both sides heavily, but my worry would be that Schnell just doesn't get a knockout, but keeps this fight on the feet and wins a striking-based decision and scores 60 points. So that's why I got it as a 4-pointer. I think Flick is very live for the submission, but if he doesn't get it, he loses. So I don't know, man. I would guess I end up with like 35% of each side, maybe 30%.
And Jimmy Flick inside the distance plus 200. Jimmy Flick by sub plus 225. There's just no other way. We're going to get to the next fight with Andre Muniz. It's literally the same exact inside the distance and sub prop. The thing is, though, like 7K plus 220 inside the distance, this fight hits the mat. Matt Schnell can grapple. Jimmy Flick really, really can grapple. Matt Schnell, way better striker. Jimmy Flick been knocked out 6 out of his 8 losses. Matt Schnell's been knocked out 5 of his 9 losses. The difference is Jimmy Flick throws pillows. Matt Schnell at least has a little pop on his shots. But if Matt Schnell drops him, he's going to follow him to the mat. Like, there's no way he doesn't, right? He trusts his grappler. He'd consider himself a primary grappler. I literally was with him in Dallas a couple of years back talking to him. That's what he considered himself as, a grappling guy. He don't want to grapple with Jimmy Flick, but if he knocks him down, it'll be interesting to see what he does. And I do expect him to jump on after that. Yeah, it is interesting, though. If Schnell can't get knockdowns and he plays it smart and keeps it on the feet, it could bust at high ownership. I mean, I wouldn't love that. I'm not going to make a rule to be all in on a fight. I will have plenty of this fight, though. But, yeah, I won't be all in because, like you said, if Schnell gets like a second-round knockout, that might not be enough on this card at 9,200. There's plenty of big scores awaiting in the top. So, great fight to target, not an all-in fight. And at these prices, I prefer Jimmy Flick just because of who's around. I don't like the 7K, low 7K range much. I love the high 9K range. So naturally, Jimmy Flick is my preferred play in this one. If he wins, I'd be surprised if he was not on the optimal. All right, let's keep it rolling. Next fight on the card. Ikram Aliskerov, minus 550, taking on Andre Muniz, plus 400. Minus 550 for this fight to finish. Aliskerov, minus 400 inside the distance. Muniz, plus 800. Aliskerov in round 1, plus 100 in round 1 for Aliskerov to finish. I'll let you take this one away. Actually, I wanted to say plus 800 for Muniz to finish, plus 800 for Muniz by decision, plus 800 for Muniz by submission. Yeah, I mean, I think he needs to take the back probably pretty quick. Maybe get on top and wrestle. Aliskerov can wrestle too. Otherwise, yeah, if it's on the feet, Muniz has no chin. He's got no heart. Aliskerov's got some power. Got to be first-round knockout, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Sub or bust for Muniz. He is a dangerous submission artist, but I don't think he's the better wrestler in this matchup. And if Aliskerov can use his wrestling to keep this fight standing, I think it's a matter of time before Muniz gets knocked out. I think first round's your best bet, but if it's not, it's second round, and that could be the worry. I mean, 97 is a lot to pay. And I would guess if it's a second round knockout, he's not going to make the optimal lineup, right? I don't think he's going to land a ton of volume here. I think it's going to be like one big shot at some point. So, yeah, maybe first round knockout or bust for him, because why are you going to try and go out there and land a bunch of takedowns against Muniz? So, I mean, if he's going to be super chalky, I'd be okay going underweight. But right now I plan just being around the field or so.
Yeah, I mean, around the field, we got ownership projected at 38%. He's 50% to get a round one finish. So just naturally, I'm thinking I want to get overweight. With all that being said, he could get a first round knockout and still not be optimal. There's a lot of great fighters in the upper tier. The lower tier has a lot of big dogs that might not win. So 118, I would take it any day. It's not guaranteed to be optimal at 9,700. So that's the reason I definitely won't go all in on this fight. I will play Andre Muniz, even as a big dog, though. If he takes the back, I promise he will be sweating real hard if you have no Andre Muniz. So for that reason alone, I will play some of him. Should check. Titletown, you come down for the draft. Already getting crazy. I am. That is why I'm in Wisconsin right now. That is why we're doing the show on Wednesday night, headed to the draft. Tomorrow through all weekend, I'll be there. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Super, super pumped. Sounds like you're there as well. Yeah, it's going to be a good time at Lambeau. All right, Big Marley, let's keep it going. 5 fights left. Randy Brown taking on Nicholas Dalby. Randy Brown minus 250. Nicholas Dalby plus 210. Plus 195 for this fight to finish. Brown plus 215 inside the distance. Dalby plus 950. Can the loud, controlled breathing 40-year-old Nicholas Dalby pull off another one?
I don't think so. I mean, how long can he keep looking like he's in the prime of his career when he's at 40 years old now? And I just think that Brown's a tough matchup where Dalby's been putting a lot more volume than he has in his past career, and he's been wearing on guys and coming back later in fights, and Brown can match him in that volume, and he's not going to wear as easily. So I think this is going to be 2 clear rounds at least for Brown, probably all 3. And I just don't know how much ownership I want of him. I'm thinking I am going to be underweight to Dalby, and now's just the time for me to fade him. Maybe he's like an okay cash game play where he could go all 3 rounds and score 35 points in a loss, and maybe you can get lucky, get some bad decision and win, and then you got 65. But I just don't want really any of him in MME GPPs, so maybe an X out there for me. And then if Brown's low owned, I do want exposure. If he's going to be high owned, I'd want to go underweight. So right now, another just right there in line with the field type of play.
I think Brown's going to be low on 15, 16%, something like that. Like, it's so hard to click when Matt Schnell's in that range. David Onama, I think people want to click a little more. Then you got the Ming Yangs, the Aliscarovs, like stars and scrubs with one mid-tier fight in the main event, I think is going to be the common roster construction. He just can't be owned. And his inside the distance prop, so how I looked at it, open plus 265, now plus 215. That's good. Open plus 650 in round 1, now plus 500. That's about 18%. That's pretty much what his ownership will be. So naturally, I'm going to have some Randy Brown. The problem is, Dalby's really tough. I think Brown in the big cage is going to use his length and just spam jabs. I don't know if that gets a finish, though. And even a third round finish, is that enough? Probably not. I just don't love it in a vacuum. But at ownership and his props, it's a play that I have to get some of. And he's low enough owned. He's a pivot like Blackshear in chalkier lineups that I'll use. So now I ask you, Randy Brown or Blackshear? I'll ask you that one first.
Blackshear.
Yep, and I agree. Even though it's 400 difference, now we're going to get closer. Randy Brown, Jocelyn Edwards.
Randy Brown.
Me too. And then you would prefer him over Evan Elder too for 500 less?
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree with you on all those too. What about him or David Onama? I know we'll get to that fight soon. That's 100 different.
I'm not sure on that one. I'm an Onama guy. I always like Onama, but I'm not sure about his ceiling in this one. Probably Onama just because I'm a little bit biased, but I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah. Sounds good. I will be playing some Randy Brown as the pivot. I think he wins the fight. I won't have too much Dalby, but I won't X him as a dog. Like he finds ways to do it sometime, pushes the pace. I don't think he breaks the vet in Randy Brown like he did Bonfim, though, to put up a big one. I think if he wins, it's a close split decision, probably scores like 70, but I'll take 70 at 7.4K or below on this card. Like, I'll live. I can go stars and scrubs, hope a 130 up top makes up for it. That's how I'm seeing it. All right, 4 fights left. Next fight on the card. This one should be good. Michelle Pereira, minus 139. Abus Magomedov, plus 119. Minus 200 for this fight to finish. Plus 130, Pereira inside the distance. Abus plus 230 inside the distance. I will say I was a little surprised at the line movement on the Abus side. Pereira opened minus 145, got down to minus 170 for a little bit. Slowly but surely, money coming in on the Abus side. I mean, Michelle Pereira was on an 8-fight winning streak, and then he loses to one of the best guys in the division in Fluffy Hernandez. Not only loses, I mean, you can't get more one-way traffic than that. But yes, people are going to say, oh, look at 10 takedowns. Like, look at Abus, averages 3.12. Nah, they ain't even close to comparing. Abus, I don't even look at as like a primary wrestler. He can wrestle. He doesn't look great at it. I don't think he has the cardio to do it against Pereira, who's going to keep fighting his way back. I'm on Michelle Pereira here. I'm going to play both sides. Great fight to target. Right price by the main event. If I was fading the main event, I would almost surely have wanted this fight. Good fight. I think Pereira wins, though. I'm getting back on the bandwagon. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not as confident.
You are a Boost guy. Yeah, you had him over Strickland. You did that a couple times.
I was until I had him over Strickland, and then he gassed in one round, and then he was dead to me. But yeah, I don't even. I might have actually picked a Boost here. This is one where I just don't really have a real lean. I could see it going either way, and for DFS purposes, I like both sides of it. So I'm sure I have it 3 stars on both sides if you refresh it. But I just think I'm going to be pretty heavy on both sides. Pereira could knock him out. Pereira could submit him. He could win a clear decision and score around 10x or more. And then on the other side, the way he just lost his last fight is kind of how I think Abus is going to have to win this one. Abus could knock Pereira out in the first round, actually. I think his first round striking is going to be the closest, and then Pereira takes over. Pereira would win the second and the third. But if Abus can keep his cardio in check and look to wrestle in this fight, that's his path to victory. So I like both sides. Let me see who I even picked to win. I don't even remember. I did these on Sunday. I got Abus by split decision. So I guess Abus would be my preferred play if I had to. But the line movement has gone in Pereira's favor. And when I have no lean, I'm cool with the line movement instead. So maybe I end up with more Pereira exposure. I have no idea on this one, but I will have a decent amount of it.
I love a lot too. And I am good, even though I picked Michelle Pereira. If I build a lineup and I drop Pereira down to a boost and leave 1K plus, I'm fine with that. You're taking a plus 120 favorite, and you can eliminate 25 dupes down to 1, down to a solo shipper. And if that's the case, he's not 25 times more likely to win, obviously. So that is something I'm willing to do. Pereira is my pick in this one. I do think a boost tries to wrestle a little bit, though, like you said. I don't know. I don't think he has the cardio. That's the main reason I'm picking Pereira. But I mean, yeah, we just saw Fluffy absolutely dominate him. I just think Fluffy is in a whole different tier. I mean, that dude is a problem. But yeah, Michelle, for me, good fight to target in DFS. It is priced right by the main event and very similar inside the distance props, this fight and the main event. 3 fights left. Big Marley, David Onama, minus 170. Giga Chikadze, plus 145, plus 120 for this fight to finish. Onama, plus 200 inside the distance. Giga, plus 425. So I'm throwing it to you. Onama cannot not put on the wrestling shoes, right? He has to come out here and wrestle, right? Like, why would you stand that distance and strike with Giga? If he does, I think he probably loses. If he doesn't, is it free? Or, I mean, Kelvin Cater's getting takedowns. I think Onama can wrestle. I think he has success wrestling. I'm also an Onama guy, a little biased. One thing I'll say that I'll throw to you for Giga side. If Giga wins a decision, this is what he scored so far in the UFC. 56, 68, 70, 51, 68. Probably 70 is enough. I don't know. Some of those, maybe 5 of those scores, none of them are enough on this card. 7,400, we keep saying 70 we take right now. Who knows? But even if Giga wins a decision, this fight could still bust. That's an interesting part. A lot to unpack in this one. I'm really curious to hear your breakdown.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely Team Onama on this one. You don't want to stand at range and strike shot for shot with Giga. He's gonna be the more technical striker. He's got more tools in his striking arsenal. But I do think Onama could definitely win the striking as long as you're just pushing forward. You're not letting Giga get set. You're pushing forward, landing more volume. I think Onama could win a striking decision. I think he's more powerful. He could knock out Giga, but Giga could knock out Onama too, just because he is so clean and technical. But you're right. I mean, if you put on the wrestling shoes, then you don't have to worry about all that cleanness and technicalness. It's not. I wouldn't say your world because I don't think Onama's a wrestler, but you're out of Giga's world at that point anyway. So that would be smart of him to do. I think he could really put a stamp on every single round if that's the case. So overweight to Onama, underweight to Giga. Not against Fade and Giga, but he's similar to Dalby to me on this card.
Yeah, I even prefer slightly Giga because let's see, we have ownership pretty much the same, but plus 425 Giga inside the distance. If he does finish, I mean, I would take that any day. That high kick, he catches him, he hurts him. Usually in his finishes, 90, 100, something like that. I just think he's much more likely to finish. And I don't know what game plan Onama's going to come in with. Like if he's chasing him around the octagon, Giga can land a big one and change the whole fight. But I'm on Onama too. I'm an Onama guy like you are. 2 fights left. Co-main event time again. Appreciate every single one hanging out with us on this fine Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, Friday, whatever you're watching. Hopefully everyone out there having a great day. Co-main event time. Ming Yang Zhang. Minus 425. Taking on Anthony Smith. Plus 325. Minus 550 for this fight to finish. Zhang minus 350 inside the distance. Anthony Smith plus 625. Oh, man. Anthony Smith has taken some money. Decent amount of money. What was it? Minus 525 when I put these odds on Monday. Now it's minus 425. I'll admit, I had Anthony Smith with the fade just because I tell myself this dude is so over the hill. I can never put another dollar on this guy. But with this line movement, and I do think there is one clear path guillotine, or somehow the fight just hits the mat and Anthony Smith can grapple. I think he gets knocked out in the first. But there could be some weird thing going on where Anthony Smith finds a neck, and this isn't his last rodeo. I actually think I'm going to change. I think I'm going to get a little Anthony Smith, or at least allow Saberson to give me some, just for the line movement alone. Now, you can talk, you have 5-star, 1-star, but that line movement alone is enough for me to, I think, get a little Anthony Smith.
Yeah, I'm not against that, actually. I think it's a 5-star and 1-star for me because I just don't think Smith cares anymore. I don't think he's in it to have any chance at a title shot anymore. I think he's just not mentally or physically in it. He could get a takedown and submit Ming Yang, but I don't think he's willing to get more than 2 takedowns. And if it's not going his way, I mean, you don't want to get knocked out. That's how you're going to lose, I guess, to Ming Yang. You can't just quit and then just get knocked out. So there's no real way to look for a way out in this fight, I guess.
No, you better get that shit to the ground or grab a neck.
Yes, maybe. I mean, maybe he wrestles more than we think, and then he just tries to go like retire on a win. Yeah, Smith's my favorite from this cheap range, and he could, if he wins, he probably does score 100+ points.
Oh, I would take him.
Breaks the slate, right? So
yeah,
I do want to get some Smith exposure, but I think ultimately he gets knocked out. Just head's not in, and I doubt he trained like crazy in this fight. I mean, for this fight, and he's probably going to be on the desk full time soon.
Yeah, I'm with you. Ming Yang, round 1 knockout, but seeing that line movement was enough for me to now add Anthony Smith back in the pool. If he does win, I would expect him to be optimal. All right, Big Marley, main event time. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. Again, if you're not a member, DGen75 is the promo code. Usually $99, all of our content and Sabersim and Discord. First month, use the code DGen75. Get $75 off. Less than $1 a day and a lot going on, as you can see. MLB, PGA, NBA playoffs, MMA, of course, NHL playoffs, NASCAR on Sunday. A lot of cheese to be made. We would love to have you. This one's tough. I'm excited to hear your breakdown of this one. Main event time. Ian Garry minus 131. Carlos Prates plus 111. Minus 215 for this fight to finish. Ian Garry plus 180 inside the distance. Carlos Prates plus 145. Take it away, Big Marley. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm going to be on the underdog here. Gary's a great striker. He is dangerous. In this matchup, I think he's more likely to look for takedowns, though. And at 8,500, I think he would be the path to this fight, not making the optimal lineup. If Garry wins, he could score 80 points and not get there. But I don't think Prates wins and is not on the optimal lineup. I think he's going to put volume up no matter what, and it could be a TKO in any round. So for me, it's Prates or pass, and I am fine going underweight on the Garry side since I am picking the underdog to win this fight. And I just don't know if Garry doesn't look to wrestle. I don't think he's going to score well. He's not a high volume striker.
He gets
even if
out.
Probably. And I mean, Prates looks like the real deal. I mean, after that last fight, everyone thought he was the next champion. I don't think I even saw it live. I was kind of watching Twitter and just watching everyone on Twitter blow up. And then when I watched it, I was like, wow, that was really impressive. So I just kind of want to keep that hype going on this kid. I want to see him win this fight and see where he can go with it. So I'll be overweight to Prates, underweight Garry, but I do want this fight to stay on the feet and I guess really see how good he is.
I agree. Like, I almost feel like a fish because it feels like everyone's thinking, everyone thinks it's about Prates. He's so smooth. He's so nasty. He's the new guy. And then Ian Garry's still minus 130. The problem is, and I get it, like, if anyone wrestles, it's Ian Garry. I think he does. I think he has to. MVP was outstriking Garry. And I shouldn't say it like that. MVP is a phenomenal striker, one of the best strikers out there. He had to wrestle. He had success wrestling. We haven't seen people try and take down Carlos Prates recently. In the past, when he was taken down, very bad, brutal. He's tall, though. It helps his takedown defense. Ian Garry's not some just great wrestler, great grappler. He's fine. He's still a primary striker at the end of the day. I definitely think he's drilling the ground game. I think Carlos Prates is drilling the ground game heavy as well. I'm on Prates, too. I think he can stuff takedowns for the most part. I think he hurts Garry at all three levels. I don't think Garry likes it. With all that being said, I am not locking this fight for the reasons you said. You're probably right. A Prates third round knockout at 7,700, probably enough. Garry winning, though, which is favored to happen, there's paths that doesn't get there. The problem is I don't love mid-tier fights around it, but Simon, you made a case for. Wellmaker, if he gets a left to right hook. Romero, Kwamba wrestles, Romero gets a finish. Like, the Boost fight right there next to it, there is fights that can do it, and you can go stars and scrubs. So I won't have 100%, but it'll be in the majority of my lineups. And I want more Prates. I think Prates wins too. What a fight, though. What a fight. It's going to before we get out here, I want to ask this. Do you think Ian Garry was right what he said about the Shavkat? Like, I injured Shavkat. Like, this should be my fight. This shouldn't be Jack Dalla. This is my fight. I did that to him. What are your thoughts on that? And we're going to get on out of here.
Yeah, I didn't even hear it. And I don't even remember. I didn't even go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, it was just like he kept throwing teep kicks or at the knees, just like the front kicks. And he hurt, and Shavkat's having knee surgery. So Ian Garry's like, I clearly damaged his knees. Like, the champ can't fight. I did the damage. Shouldn't it be me instead of Jack Dalla, who's been out for a year type thing?
Yeah, then I would disagree just because, like, well, if you did enough damage, you should have won the fight.
Yeah. And it's a title eliminator fight. Like, you lost. You got eliminated from the title. So
yeah,
that's how I see it too. But I was curious to hear your thoughts. Final thoughts, Big Marley? Big week for you. Big week.
Go Prates. Hope he does win. And hopefully it is, definitely a good week for me and Ricardo and Kenny as well because of this qualifier. But 14 fights is always a good DFS card to sweat. So hopefully it's just a good card all around. Good luck to you, Title. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
Good luck, Big Marley. Good luck, Kenny. Good luck, Ricardo. Good luck, everybody out there. Hope y'all enjoy 14 fights, fingers crossed, Saturday night in Kansas City. Do us a favor again, like, button, subscribe. Helps us out a ton. DGen75 is the code if you want to join. For Big Marley, I'm Titletown. Good luck. Be safe. Peace.